What is up, everybody? It's your first here today, and we have to talk about some major red flags in the newest Final Fantasy VII Rebirth game, Part 2. Apparently, they have this accessibility mode for Final Fantasy VII where you have these disgusting yellow patches all over the game that try to show you where you gotta go to if you get lost. And it is so jarring that when you want to be immersed into this game, you see these big yellow blocks right here on which you can climb onto. That is so gross. It's like, really? When you're playing the game, do you really want to see this nonsense? No. So, once again, they could have had this out of there. They could have had like a hold R3 or hold one of the thumbsticks if you're really lost in the game and this pops up yellow like this. But to have this by default is just so... it's just gross at this point. Like, why is this right here? I'm pretty sure the average person knows where to go to when they're playing this game. And if you do get lost, then make that an option, but don't put this on by default. And the other red flag that people have been talking about is that apparently characters like Sid and Vincent will feature as NPCs in Final Fantasy VII Remake, but they won't join you for battles. It won't be in your party. So that definitely sucks. So not only you can't play as these two characters, but people are speculating you could probably play these characters in the third part, the final part of this trilogy, but in part 2 you can't play with them. So it's not going to be very limited amount of new cast that's going to be in this one. Mainly the same cast from the first one, which is kind of like you want to play more characters. So definitely sucks you won't get to play these characters. But let's see what people have to say about this. These yellow blocks, these yellow bricks all over the place in this game. Hasn't literally all playtesting found that the visual compromise being made here is better for the game flow for all players? Less time spent looking for the route, even if you aren't visually impaired in games where you're doing stuff like this, is a lot smoother the experience. I don't think that's true. You got a lot of responses to it. A lot of people responded to this comment right here. Sacrificing immersion in the favor of barely half a minute faster game flow is just stupid. Why use random unexplainable patches of yellow paint rather than something natural like slightly more visible cliffs or moss? Random patches of yellow paint is just lazy to design. That is very lazy because, once again, you're on this like cliff right here and you just see yellow spots everywhere throughout the environment. That's just so that's so ridiculous. The idea, yeah, using literal paint isn't the only solution though. Give me the option, turn it off, please. Yeah, I'm probably gonna turn it off too if they do have that option because it just looks stupid. Like, you don't want to play the game, you just see yellow paint just everywhere throughout the environment. So it's just dumb. It's just horrible. And this fantasy game right here. Oh no, accessibility settings for those who may be visually impaired that break your immersion in a game where you have to travel with a talking lion. The horror. Sure, you can say that if that was an option, but we putting this on by default, so it's just dumb. The thing is that I don't get is Assassin's Creed managed to do this 15 years ago. Yeah, Ubisoft did it perfectly fine. They didn't even do it where it was like completely like annoying. Like, it's a perfectly fine building right here. You can tell that you climb it up because some of the bricks slightly protrude more than the other one, so you know it's a climbable path. So if Ubisoft can do it, why are they struggling? And even with Prince of Persia, even with this older Prince of Persia, these Prince of Persia games, they made it very clear what areas you can climb up to. So why are they struggling with this Final Fantasy game in 2024? It doesn't make any sense. Or even Far Cry. They give you a rope that you know you gotta climb up. You know you can climb. It was a climbable area, right? Because of the rope. So, just ridiculous. The people that defend those are the reasons why you can't play any mission in Rockstar games without the minimap on. And apparently this was the original Final Fantasy VII. I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, but apparently this is just as annoying. This is just as bad then. I think the yellow paint should be an option. Turn it off as like a different difficulty or something. It can't be hard for them to implement that. I don't know. A lot of these developers are like they can't chew and walk at the same time. Chew bubblegum, walk at the same time apparently. Because why is this a thing? It's just so dumb. And this is bad because when I'm playing the game, I don't want to see big yellow paint spots everywhere. It's just like, who painted all that? It just doesn't make any sense. People calling this good game design be like, okay, Smart Galaxy, you take a crack at it. Yeah, people just don't admit that this is just lazy, bad game design at this point. Like in 2024, this is the best that you can do to tell people where to go to, really. At this point, I want a game about the dude who has to paint all of that. Testing surfaces to see if they're climbable, carrying paint buckets and rollers while climbing, getting stuck on ledges, crumbling handholds could be fun. The Shinra safety regulations. Do people really need guidance this much? Yeah, some people do get stuck in tutorials. Shout outs to that guy who got stuck in a Cuphead tutorial and kept failing miserably. So there are those people out there who are just terrible with like the most basic stuff possible in video games. So, but this is just too much though, especially for a default option. But let's move on to what people are saying about the whole these characters not being included, but be as NPCs. That is kind of lame though. That is very lame. I'm pretty sure there's one character that has his own video game in the PS2 generation. Vincent, he had his own game, so it's kind of sucks. He's not even a playable character. He's like just an NPC. PlayStation, the original PlayStation is a superior version. I might have to go back to the original one at one point. Damn, that is just lame. It depends when both characters are introduced as to how much I care. A Dirge of Cerberus. That's what that game was called, Dirge of Cerberus. To be fair, given the Rebirth is just set to go as far as the Forgotten Capital, they join extremely late in the story, so same as Sonaki, best to just save them for next time. I still don't want to play as the same characters as the original one. Like, I want to play as some new characters. Like, oh, let's see. Pre-order canceled. I don't think people. That's not gonna. That sucks. But it's not gonna like people are gonna actually cancel their pre-orders over this nonsense though. Square Enix, they never stop to disappoint. To be honest, Vincent and Sid will only be in the last 2 hours so of the game, so it can make complete sense. Okay, so people justifying this decision. Bro, let me play as a cool vampire gunner. So you have to wait another 4 years to play as Vincent. That's what it seems like they're gonna make you do. It's kind of ridiculous. So, nobody cares about them anyway. Really, this is literally the most popular Final Fantasy. You mean to tell me nobody cares about these two characters that's missing? Literally the most popular one out of all the Final Fantasies. Multiple movies, multiple popular pop culture references to different video games. I think people care that you can't play as two of these big characters in this game. So I'm gonna include it right here. Square Enix is gonna do what they're gonna do. Like, once again, this is their most popular Final Fantasy, so they make some really strange decisions in this one right here. But they're gonna make a lot of money off this game. They already know it. So even though I don't like this whole paint situation, they're still gonna make a lot of money off this game. So hopefully they do make a patch that this isn't included when the final game releases, because this is the most egregious of the two issues. Like, this yellow paint stuff is really annoying. It just looks ridiculous at this point. Like, no, that's bad. Games from PS2 and PS3 and 360 generation had better game design than this. Just fix this. This looks like some amateur stuff right here. So I'm gonna include it right here. Definitely want to see your thoughts down below. Are you annoyed with this paint issue right here? Maybe you think it's just a non-issue. People are complaining. Or how do you feel about these characters not being there? Let me know your thoughts down below about this. Leave a like this video, and as always, thanks for watching, and peace.